fussy eater in your home? Does your child sometimes refuse foods? Maybe it's every so often, or maybe it's every night. Do you have to keep cooking separate meals for different people in your family? Living with a fussy or a problem eater can be really, really draining because we need to eat, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And for our toddlers or even our older kids who struggle with eating, it can be really, really draining. Hi, I'm Deb Hopper, Occupational Therapist, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and your Toddlers to Teens Special Needs Reporter. In the next 2 episodes, we're going to look at the reasons why eating might be difficult and some strategies that you can try tonight to make meal times easier. So in this episode, let's talk about why eating might be difficult. There are 3 reasons that we're going to talk about today. So the first reason is that often children's mouth, tongue and chewing movements aren't as well developed as they need to be, and so it's actually physically hard for children to be able to move food around their mouth and then be able to swallow. So to be able to eat and chew easily, we need to have really good tongue movements. So we need the tongue to be able to move from side to side and to push the food around, and then the tongue helps to push it down to swallow. So often, even in children, I'm finding 8, 9, 10-year-olds, even 12-year-olds, they find it really difficult because their mouth movements or their muscle tone is not really well developed. So if we can work on their mouth movement skills, then it can be easier for them to be able to chew and to swallow. The second reason why lots of children struggle to eat is because of sensory processing difficulties. Now, I was given this lovely present from one of my clients the other week, and I'm just going to show you here. It's these beautiful, beautiful pebbles. And the mum told me they were actually chocolate, and I said, no, they're not chocolate. They look like rocks. They sound like rocks. They look like rocks to me. I took them home and I gave them to my children and said, here, I've got a surprise for you. Have some chocolate. And they thought, no, I had to actually say, put it in your mouth, it is chocolate. And they had to trust me. And it is beautiful chocolate, it's really great. But visually, it looks like a rock. So it's the same for our kids who are fussy eaters. Often they look at food and they think, oh, that doesn't look good at all. So they don't want to eat it. There are lots of other sensory issues that can impact on eating. So for some kids, they don't like the sound of food chewing inside their mouth. Some kids don't like the texture or the taste of food in their mouth. And sometimes, this is one area that we don't think about. Often some kids struggle with their core postural muscles to be able to sit and to balance on the chair. So if you can imagine having to sit on a bar stool for a whole day's workshop, it's going to be really tiring and really hard. So that's one reason why some children might find it hard to sit to then be able to eat. The third reason why many children struggle to eat is because they develop psychological blocks to eating. They develop a stress response. So when they see food or when they smell food, they have this fight and flight response to food. So what that does is it pumps loads of adrenaline into their system, and that suppresses appetite. So if a child is stressed or when they're thinking about food, then it's going to be really hard because they're not going to really feel hungry. So we need to look at those psychological clues to be able to see how we can help kids. So in our next episode, we're going to be looking at some strategies that you can implement straight away to be able to help kids. But if you'd like to read ahead, we have this free tip sheet on our website, and I'll pop the link below where you can go online and download this and you can try some tips. But we'll see you in part 2 next week.